Hello, my name is Jonathan Smart. I work for Innosone in Europe. We manufacture the Brayden range of mannequins. I'd like to introduce you today to the newest addition to our range, the Brayden Baby mannequin. This infant mannequin was designed with help from leading resuscitation experts from around the world, specifically also from Europe and the United Kingdom. The mannequin represents a 6-month baby weighing approximately 6 kilograms, and the baby offers a number of features which are useful for the European Paediatric Life Support course, which I'll talk about in a short while. But first, if we just run through the salient features of the mannequin, it has a interconnected and open mouth and nose. It has the ability to perform a jaw thrust. It has a head that when you put the mannequin onto a flat surface lies in a natural position with the chin touching the chest as though in flexion. And it has full range of motion, both backwards and forwards, and sideways as well. The ability to perform chest compressions is also realistic in that the feel of the chest feels good, according to the international experts that we took advice from, and also allows full range of motion for good quality compressions on an infant, in that you can go at least a third of the anterior posterior distance, or 4 centimeters. So those are the basic features of the Brayden Basic mannequin. But obviously, because it's a Brayden mannequin, it has feedback, real-time feedback, which allows you to have objective real-time feedback of your chest compression performance. But because this is also an infant mannequin, ventilation performance as well, as that is as important in the infant resus as compressions. So first of all, if I just tell you about the chest compression performance. So the mannequin detects where you are putting either your fingers or your thumbs. So according to the experts that we've spoken to, it needs to be a single width of finger above the Ziffy sternum or below the nipple line. So if I now do some good quality compressions, I'll show you what the mannequin does in terms of feedback with the lights. So if I start to push correctly, you see that the headlight appears and comes on. It pulses on and off in that particular manner. This is similar to the Brayden adult mannequin. If I now start to go too fast, the light on the head goes off, and you'll see that the carotid lights on the side of the mannequin start to flash. That indicates I'm going above 120 compressions a minute. If I slow down, then the light will come back on again. And now if I go too slow, below 100, the light on the head goes off again. Okay, so if I go too slow, there we go. Now if I go back up to the correct speed, but now I don't go deep enough. If I don't go deep enough, the lights on the chest don't fully illuminate and the light on the head goes out. If I now go to the correct depth, and now I over compress, push the mannequin right to the bottom, then the light on the head goes off and the lights on the chest flash. This feedback for over compression was something that we got from the leading European experts or global experts that told us that it's good to train rescuers not just to push to the bottom of the mannequin. So that's the compression feedback. Also, the last thing is release as well. If I go to the correct depth and the correct speed, but don't release fully, the headlight goes off. So now I go back to doing good quality compressions with my thumb and my fingers, which I'll show you, in the correct position, correct speed, correct depth, correct release, correct rate. Headlight comes on. So I've just demonstrated using my thumbs, using the encircling technique, but you can also use the Brayden mannequin using your fingers. If you have your fingers in the correct position and you're going at the correct speed, the correct depth, correct release, and your fingers in the correct position, then you can have the headlight coming on if you're doing everything correctly as I've already described. As I'm sure you're aware, for an infant resus situation, ventilations are just as important as compressions. So the Brayden Baby has been specifically designed to have feedback, real-time feedback for ventilation performance to ensure that the rescuer provides air to the baby in the correct manner according to the guidelines. So the Brayden Baby was designed specifically so that the airway only opens on the baby in the correct neutral position. So if the baby is in flexion with its large occiput is sitting in that position naturally as you lay it onto a flat surface, then no air will go into the lungs of the baby. If you hyperextend, as you probably would want to do with an adult, then again no air goes into the baby. But if you put the head into the correct neutral position and then put air into the lungs, then you see the lights illuminate. Now remember, this is a baby that is 6 kilograms, so you would need to be introducing approximately 30 milliliters of air via the bag valve mask into the baby, okay? Also, the chest on the baby is rising, and again we've taken advice from key opinion leaders with regard to the movement of the chest and what you should be seeing. So if I do everything correctly and I put in around 30 milliliters of air, then the lights illuminate. If I don't put enough air in, then, like this, then the lights don't illuminate. If I do everything correctly, but I put too much air in, like this, okay, then the lights will flash and you can see that the chest is rising too far in terms of too much air going in. So if I do everything correctly, that's what you see. But if I then put in the air, the correct volume of air, but too rapidly in less than 1 second, like this, and then the lights double flash in a way that's telling you you're putting the air in too quickly. So the Brayden Baby gives feedback on compression performance, but it also gives feedback on ventilation performance as well. So as I mentioned earlier, the Brayden Baby was designed initially for the European Pediatric Life Support course. And so I'm just going to go through the algorithm for the EPLS course to show how it can be used for teaching on that particular course. So you would ask the students to check responsiveness of the baby, and if the baby is not responding, then you would obviously shout for help. You would put the head of the baby into the correct neutral position, and if the baby is not breathing normally, then you would move on to the next stage of the algorithm, which I'm sure you're aware is to deliver 5 rescue breaths. So this would be the ventilation as I've described before, where you would be squeezing the bag and you'd be putting in the correct amount of air for the age of this baby, and over 5 rescue breaths you would be delivering air so that the lights come on in the manner that I have just demonstrated. So if the baby is still not responding or showing signs of life, then you would move on to the next part of the EPLS algorithm, which is to deliver 15 compressions with your fingers or thumbs in the correct position, as I described earlier on, and you are compressing to the correct depth, the correct rate and the correct release to have the headlight of the Brayden Mannequin illuminating correctly. So I will demonstrate. So I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. If I happen to be not a healthcare professional, then you would use the 30 to 2 ratio that you would use for an adult. but this is assuming that this is for healthcare providers with the duty to respond. So I've done the 15 compressions according to the EPLS algorithm, and now I would deliver 2 breaths in the same manner as I demonstrated earlier with the 5 rescue breaths, but this time it's only 2, so it would be 1 and 2. Okay, and then I would carry on and do another 15 compressions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So, and you would continue for 1 minute in that particular way, and then reassess, and hopefully by that time you would have had help. So that's the Brayden Baby, which, as I mentioned previously, has been designed with help from key opinion leaders from around the world and from Europe. So it can be used for the European Pediatric Life Support course. If you are a healthcare provider with a duty to respond, you would use the baby with the 5 rescue breaths and the 15-2 algorithm. Or if you are a lay responder, you can use the baby to teach with 5 rescue breaths and the 30-2 algorithm. Thank you.